Hi everybody, Nick here. In recent times, I've received several requests to start providing some analysis of group races within which we have key runners. And I thought I might start by looking at tomorrow's Group 1 William Reid Stakes at Moonee Valley. And we'll put this information out there. It'll be a 4 or 5 minute deep dive into the race. And if there's a good appetite for this, please let us know, and we'll be only too willing to continue to provide this sort of information moving forward in key group races. In regards to the William Reid Stakes itself tomorrow, let's start by looking at the recent history of the race. 6 of the last 8 winners have been fillies and mares. Of course, Imperatriz won it twice as a 4 and 5-year-old mare, but even aside from Imperatriz, 4 of the previous 6 winners were 3-year-old fillies and 4-year-old mares. So that sets up well for horses like Arabian Summer, who is a 3-year-old filly, and Stretton Angel and She's Bulletproof are a 4-year-old mares, and Benedetta, of course, as a 5-year-old mare, is also well favoured by that recent history. In regards to tomorrow's race itself, let's start at the top. The logical place to start with any analysis of the race is with the top weight Jimmy Star. He was an emphatic winner of the Oakley Plate at Group 1 level first up over the 1100 at Caulfield, where he showed his devastating turn of foot late when held up and ridden quietly throughout the run. In his previous preparation, he was also an 1100 metre winner first up at Caulfield with exactly the same turn of foot late. On that occasion, though, he went second up to the 1400 at Caulfield and won at listed level. On this occasion, he stays at the 1200 and comes to Moonee Valley for the first time. So that's a little bit of a different mix-up. And certainly a different dynamic for him to deal with. The other tricky part for Jimmy Star in terms of this race tomorrow is his barrier draw of number 2. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like he's going to map back and inside runners. And over the 1200 at the Valley, that's a fairly difficult place to be. And he's going to need a little bit of luck at the right time to get out. And being a high-profile favourite in the race, I can't imagine he's going to get any favours in the run either. So that's the chink in his armour, the slight query that second up 1200 versus a rise to 1400 last preparation and the inside barrier. That being said, with even luck in running, I'm sure he's going to be very hard to hold out late. The next horse I'd like to look at is Benedetta. She's a 5-year-old mare, and as I said, that gives her the fairer sex advantage, which the fillies and mares have had over other runners in this race over the last 8 years. And her recent form is sound. She was a solid third in the Lightning Stakes at Group 1 level down the straight at Flemington first up. And last start, she should have finished much closer in the Newmarket, and it's difficult to know where she would have finished, but certainly a lot closer than 6 lengths from the winner, which is what the form guide will suggest. She's the most experienced runner at Group 1 level. She's had 7 starts at this level. That's the most experienced of any runner in the field. And she is a winner at this level, having won the Group 1 Goodwood back in the autumn last year in South Australia. I think she's a horse that has the figures to win if she can produce her best, and she definitely demands respect, and I have her priced similar to where the market has her priced. The next runner I'd like to look at is our own runner, Stretton Angel. She's drawn 9 of 9, and interestingly, as soon as the barrier draw came out, the market took that as a negative, and she's eased 2 or 3 points from her place in the betting earlier in the week. I take a different view. From a stable's perspective, we know this mare doesn't like runners on her inside and outside. So I think from that barrier, she'll have an opportunity to get back, get cover, and be able to make a run when she needs on her terms without having runners on her outside. And I see that as an advantage. The key will be in making sure she doesn't get too far back and she has too much work to do to catch up to some of these others, which are Group 1 horses with a very comparable turn of foot. But I have her marked favourite. She's competed at Group 1 level 6 times. She's placed second twice and third once. She also ran 4th in the Champion Sprint, beaten 0.76 of a length. I think she is a high-quality mare. She's knocking on the door. She's ready to win, and I think this is a very, very good opportunity for her to do so. And all she has to do is repeat the figure that she produced in the Goodwood behind Benedetta, and both her and Benedetta are the 2 to beat here, and I think they're a very, very good chance of cornellaring the race. Others in the market that I don't necessarily have any great love for are Schwartz. His figures, according to my data, are just not good enough to win the race. She's bulletproof. I have a great respect for the mare's ability, but one thing I will say about She's Bulletproof that'll make tomorrow's task of winning particularly difficult is she's been up a long time now. She's been up since October, and she's being asked to peak tomorrow for the third time this preparation, and that's a very difficult thing to do. She had the 3 initial runs in her prep through October and November, then she had a 7-week break before resuming at Geelong, and then 4 weeks later she produced an outstanding career best win when winning at Group 3 level at Sandown, and then 3 weeks later she produced a very good effort in the Oakley Plate, running second to Jimmy Starr last start. But as I said, despite the fact that that's a very good profile, the challenge for her here is she will need to produce a new peak to win the race, and that'll in fact be her 3rd new peak this preparation, and that is not an easy thing for any horse to do. The other horse I'd also like to mention is Arabian Summer. She's a 3-year-old filly in the race, and there's been a fair bit of talk about her run in the Oakley Plate being one of the better runs in the race, given she was 4 wide without cover for some part of that race from an awkward draw, and she did run to the front only to get run down over the last 150 or so. That's all true. She did carry 50 kilos at the handicap conditions of the Oakley Plate that day, and I'm not sure that wide passage was as big a disadvantage as some may suggest it is, and I just don't have her figures comparable with some of the others I've mentioned earlier in this analysis. So I have to be against her, and I think she's an unders proposition in the race. The other thing I will say in regards to her is she's another who's trying to peak for the 3rd time this preparation, and if she's to win, she will need a new peak, and it's not easy to do that. So that's my analysis of the race. The other runner, Mahaba, is worthy of respect. I'm not sure he's running up to the same form he was when he won the Rising Fast at Group 3 level at Flemington in November, nor when he was a 2nd placed getter in the Group 1 Winterbottom at Ascot in November. So I have a little question mark on where he's at the moment, but he is a horse who looks like he's going to get a good run in the race, and he's certainly a good opportunity to finish somewhere in the frame. But in summary, I think the 3 principal chances are Stretton Angel, Benedetta and Jimmy Starr in that order, and that's the order I have marked them. Other chances to Mahaba and She's Bulletproof, although I concede She's Bulletproof is having to do something which is particularly difficult. All the best tomorrow. I hope you back the winner if you play in the race. Thanks very much.